How's it going, everybody? It's Man Smart here. I want to thank you guys for coming through on Earth. Okay, I think we got the layout right now. All right, I want to thank you guys for coming through. As you've seen, I haven't been live streaming a lot lately because since the new administration came in, there's been lots of opportunities that I have to engage in that I thought I was going to engage in 2028. But it turns out I'm going to have to get a little bit work early along with that. I'm a guest on the Gone 11. What's going on? The Gone?
What's going on, MOT? What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. I'm tired of dumb ninjas. I had to drop the song with the montage of dudes looking out of place and crazy.
Oh, those things had me screaming. I looked at that. I was screaming. Good stuff. Oh man, that had me screaming. But
Oh
anyway,
man.
yeah, all right, man. That definitely set it off.
Yeah, man, but at this point in time, I should have hit the like button upon coming in. But at this point in time, we have to address the I wouldn't call it the elephant in the room, but I would call it the dumb ninja in the room. So we have to realize that all of this space turned into a space of self improvement. And it turned into a place of redirecting the conversation onto an imperfect society. The first complaints about how the boomers messed up shit, you know, we was going through that for a while. And if you look back, all the people who was complaining about boomers or doing all them boomer live streams, aren't those people on the most bullshit right now? They go
They are on pure BS, on a
the
grift,
most,
and
the
and, and,
most.
and and quite frankly, when they talk about the boomers and how they were looking to just to get handed something that they
Yes,
didn't want to put any work into. How
correct.
come you
And they
didn't? How
act.
come you didn't hand me a bag? That
How come you didn't hand me a better future? How come I got to come out here and work politically? How come I got to come out here and vote? How come you didn't hand me perfection? How come you didn't hand me a big old house, a car? How come you didn't work towards all this stuff? And I'm like, but you guys had better access to all of this stuff, and you still ended up coming online and supporting the same type of people that you claimed that you was different than.
now let me ask you this question, MOT. Weren't many of these people supposed to have greater access to information,
Yes, they did.
greater access to even not only information but training and so forth? Weren't
Yes,
they?
they did.
Were they supposed to have access to this? Okay.
Yes, but they did absolutely nothing with it. And that's the problem. You still have to remind people. Like, we're going to talk next week's about imagine if you don't have a side pick right now and how dumb you actually look trying to associate yourself with what's going on in the news media right
And
now when it
look,
comes to the actual presidency. Doesn't it seem kind of stupid to call yourself a libertarian or a third party person or a green party person? And for instance, stop paying attention to people in California when it comes to politics. If they're not in the part of the Democratic Party, you live in the most liberal state in the fucking union, you need to triple shut the fuck up about everything. You really do. All these people, they know what party runs the state. And if you ask them what their complaints are, they want more liberal or more black focused shit, but they won't support the actual party that actually gives them that.
no, they won't. And then they'll
That's in
say that,
charge.
and then they'll complain about it, and then say they won't say anything about that other side that's actually going against you, but they'll complain about not getting more quote unquote liberal stuff,
Yeah,
more liberal policies. Am I correct on that? Or am I wrong?
correct. Correct. Like they want more liberal policies. They won't support the liberal party. And they want to feign like they're on the actual Republican side, but they're not. They told you up front with what they defunded that they don't mess with you over there either.
They don't mess with you, but yet
Yeah,
these
and
folks.
it's like everybody has come to a space that actually means something. And this is what happens when I talk to one of these personnel. I asked them very clearly, And then I have to block them from the channel, and they can no longer talk in my chat. That's why they're not here. But so the problem that we have here is that people could have paid attention to legit entertainers offline. There are plenty of them in society. There are plenty of these personnel around. You didn't have to come to the Black Manosphere to listen to entertainers. They already existed in Black YouTube. They already existed there. There was literally no reason to come to a place of self improvement because when you ask one of these individuals, okay, if you're part of the Black Manosphere, who are you subscribed to in the Black Manosphere? Then all of a sudden the conversation get quiet. Wonder why the conversation get quiet and gone?
Go ahead.
Because they're subscribed to the people who are actually the problem. And nobody can make you do that. You have to do that on your own. It's not the women who's attracted to nonsense, it's men who's attracted to nonsense. Now, they tried to blame the woman for it, but your bad outcomes and your lack of sexual access and what you fill your time with misinformation, disinformation, trolling all these women, only have something to say about Jasmine Crockett, but completely ignore every other woman in society when it comes to politics, no matter whether it's local or national. But they have to keep the focus on and angst toward this woman because if she was perfect, then they wouldn't be in the position that they're in.
That's exactly correct. And then when we start to also look at the whole aspect of self improvement,
He didn't want to do it.
they didn't want to do it, rejected it,
Yes.
and said we don't need to self improve, and then went on to go on with the complaints and stuff that we still consider that we are still looking at, that we're looking at and saying this is crazy. This is
And at
crazy.
the end of the day, they send this stuff to other people. Like this generation, this group of people have to take responsibility that you made Kevin Samuelson fresh and fit famous. That ain't nobody else's fault but y'all dumbass. Y'all did that. Y'all built that during your generation, right? Rather
Hmm.
than going out here changing laws and doing shit, y'all actually made grifters famous. Y'all did that. Nobody else did that but y'all. And whenever it came time to address the issue, they would turn the actual issue from a level of importance and substance and they tried to turn it back into entertainment. And it's like, well, why would you spend real time on entertainment, but not real time in fixing your own issue?
These people were never serious. They never came here to be about anything serious. They never was. This was about entertainment for them. And I heard some older YouTubers say, yeah, well, this is more about entertainment. And that's what these people are here for. They're here for entertainment. And then when you got serious and started putting foot to the backside and started talking about facts and getting into what we really need to get into, you saw the types of fallout that we've seen. And these people now have run around and have called, many of them have tried to call themselves conservatives.
No, I mean, but they want to attach
Unbelievable.
themselves to something that they don't understand. And it's like conservatism has a very straightforward history. Like the part of the Democratic Party that they actually hate conservatism because conservatism is what has done all of these things throughout history. Now, they may have been a part of the Democratic Party at that point, but they still live in the same areas. They still believe in the same thing that they believed in back then. They still did, and they still do. What's going on, Quiz of the Prince?
Hey, how y'all doing this evening, gentlemen?
We're
Good.
doing all right, man.
How you doing?
Good, boy. The season of grifting is upon us. It's getting real out here, and they still grifting on. What about the Democrats? We don't need to worry about that right now.
They're not even
Well,
in
We got
power.
bigger
No
issues. We got
House,
bigger
no
issues.
Senate, no presidency, no judiciary, but they still trying to find a black woman to go kick somewhere and make her
Yeah.
responsible for what's happening right now for some reason.
and they're trying to reshift the grift to play on that, and then say, hey, let's look at this year. Let's go with. Can we get these reparations? Can we do this? We already know what the Republicans and
You
them have
can't.
said.
You ain't gonna be able to get nothing after this. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's get ready. They get ready to give it all away. I mean,
You know,
Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. I mean,
Hey, look.
I had a discussion with somebody, my sister, and we were talking about. I've tried to enlighten her on politics a little bit, but she was talking about how they whine about getting us getting Section 8, men do, but then you say something to them about. I said, you ain't got it. I know already know, sis. They ain't they ain't getting no second job to get you off no section. Ain't no women off no Section 8. It's just they just running their mouth.
They are.
It's
They
just
are.
it's just. I mean, if politics 101 is in place, and I like you mentioned Jasmine Crockett earlier, they ain't. They won't even run for the local elections to help change the laws. They just sitting around here waiting on 2026 and 28 to continue to grift about the Democrats. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah, but
ah,
what it is that if you look at it, we're like the sled dogs that's pushing or pulling all these non-productive, non-interactive, zero understanding personnel around. Like they treating us like sled dogs, and they're just on there just whipping the dogs, trying to get us to go solve all of their issues and all of their problems. When
what
I live in a place that already works. The fact that most of these dumbass people can't live there is a testament to the fact that our area works fine.
and
hey,
they're not willing to put in any work. They're not willing to put in
No.
any work, but run around and talk crap all day long. Now they see what's really coming down. A lot of people have shooshed. They're off someplace else now, talking about hip hop or something else like that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, and
hey,
do not want to face exactly what's going on. I'm looking here at Ronan Unsung saying a few things that are right on the money. Talking
All
about
true.
the Department of Education. What about the Black Boys riffraff?
Yeah.
Silence.
Yeah.
The vets and all these other, waving the flag and hiding behind the military. I mean, you're just looking at all this ridiculousness, and then you see some of these clowns come out here today, and
no,
MOT,
no, they're not. They're not clowns. They're not clowns.
oh no, man, somebody. I mean, these guys are just.
Uh,
Let's just say they may have an idea of what they're trying to do, but these guys are coming off. They look clownish. I saw a brother today trying to say that the Democratic Party right now, and he's just going against the Democrats. And we're not saying Democrats, Republicans here, but this guy, the Democratic Party is what did we MOT? They said it was demonic or something,
Satanic.
satanic,
Satanic.
satanic. And I'm sitting here saying they're satanic, and what's going
Oh,
on the
Haim, the
other?
cryptocurrency podcast, please stop talking about politics.
Stay out
Please
of it.
stop
Stay out of
talking
it,
about
man.
politics.
Close it.
Dude,
Stay out
you
of
can
it.
run your crypto shit
Stay out of
and
it.
you can run your black women bashing shit, but stay the fuck out of politics. Because
Stay out
when
of it.
you start to say shit is demonic and you don't provide no proof, you actually run an interference for people who are actually doing stuff to black people that you just skipping over. This is not the time to be a conservative. It's not the time to celebrate nothing that the right wing is doing. Not the time. And I know you probably live in a liberal city, probably in a conservative or liberal state. So if you could just stay the fuck out of politics, that'd be great. I mean, TSR Johnson looks crazy. He's talking about child support and alimony and shit when he live in the worst state in the fucking country for the shit. Ain't part of the
hey,
process, ain't trying to change shit. But you want to run
It's
your mouth
child
about it.
support, alimony,
Crazy.
but the government didn't help them out. The government didn't help them out by providing them condoms with the health department. But it's the government fault. cost of the child support. But they did offer you condoms, but hey, you didn't want to take them, so
Yeah, man, them
free at the
lifestyle
health
shits had
department.
holes all in them, man. That's like the Anthony Cromartie / the Bristol play and get a woman pregnant plan. Yeah, man, you use them government condoms. Yeah, man, she coming up with the big stomach in a couple months. No problem.
They feel like they fill them up with air. Listen, I
Yeah.
mean, it's insane, but this is what we've actually got going on, and yeah, then they're going with the culture war game, and
Yes.
they're still trying to run it in the face of what we're seeing right now, in the face of what these guys are running on you right now. You know,
It's kind of like a person pulling
I've
on that
come
crank
to
handle on a lawnmower and it just ain't gonna start and they just keep pulling harder and harder and harder, looking crazy. That's what they do look like, man, trying to restart the culture war around here. And here's the thing. They think that the eyeballs that they get from these idiots is verification of what they're actually doing. I'm like, dude, you don't understand that you are worse for trying to run this stuff at this point in time. And yes, Black Avenger, look, they convince these people because it's in their genetics. Remember, they fought a whole civil war for corporate America, the planter elite. This is in their bloodline to fight for the planter elite. These days, the oligarchs. Back then, it was the agricultural oligarchs. It's in their genes
and
because they think that they're the chosen working class and that they don't have anything in common with actual working class people. And it's like, look, transgender people in sports or Latinos, especially the ones who voted for Trump, getting picked on and getting picked up by the actual government. I just tell people up front, bro, I'm not gonna be a shoulder to cry on. A friend of mine gave me a call. He worked for the VA. Answered the phone. Hey man, we could talk about anything else except for these government cuts. What you want to talk about? Yeah, we ain't got nothing to talk about. You've been a Republican all this time. You never paid for the actual union. You was a political freeloader. You live in the Denver metro area. And all this liberal shit. He lives around all this liberal shit, but claims to be a conservative. Don't know what he's conserving. Don't know why he's conserving it. Work for the military industrial complex just like me, trying to call other people welfare recipients, and he works for the government. And it's like he only feels it when it happened to him. It didn't really matter all the other times. All this endless trolling and endlessly not looking at reality and not caring, but it's all the way different when they're being personally affected. And I'm just saying, at the end of the day, look, you got the House, the Senate, the presidency, and the judiciary, and you're not even legislating. And
yeah, you just executive
it's
order everything.
been this way. Yeah, it's been this way. And you can't run a country through executive orders that are not constitutional. That doesn't make up for legislation. But these people knew because the Republicans had the House before this presidency and they wasn't doing anything with it.
and and and, and nobody wants to say how these guys they don't legislate. They don't legislate. The Republicans
They propagandize everything. That's all.
it,
That's all.
they don't legislate. They don't. I
And
mean, I'm just looking at that and saying, listen, what laws are you guys really putting forth? What are you really doing? I mean, besides blocking, what are you? What are you? What are you legislating? What laws are you putting forth here?
None.
I've come to a conclusion. I was doing a little research. It was a German pastor. He got executed by the Nazi Party. His name was Dietrich Von something.
Bonhoeffer. No, Bonhoeffer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he just come to the conclusion that people are stupid. I mean, you have IQ of 180. You can't no facts or no whatever you can tell them. They just flat out stupid. They just not going. And I believe that's what we are dealing with at this point in time. We're dealing with more stupid people than they just, whether they black or white, they don't Latino, or they just stupid. They just don't I mean, I marvel at the stupidity, at the grift that they be listening to. I mean, these are. I mean, you say something. Somebody say something about Tyreek Nasheed or feel it. Advised. They coming at your head. No, no, no. What about reparations and what have the Democrats done? What are we talking about right now?
I mean, they always run. What have the Democrats done? Well, everything you've got is what the Democrats have done. What have the Republicans done for you?
Who's fighting
I,
against the Democrats though?
I mean, exactly.
Never part of it.
And where is the Republican legislation here that is going to support your bottom line? Where is that? Where is it? So you don't hear anything from them, and they think somehow they're in a class collaborative effort with with these middle of the road white folks where their interests are the same, and they really don't understand that other side and how they really perceive you. They don't seem to really understand that, but
It
think
is a paid
somehow, you
position
know,
to sell out people
you
in
know,
this country. It is a highly
you know,
paid media position to sell out the working class in this country. It is a highly paid position. It is part of capitalism to sell out
it is.
the everyday rank and file American person. It is a highly paid position.
Hey,
And they
and the Latinos got paid real good by going with the grifter. We work hard. They don't. Now you see your hard work don't even matter.
And then a lot of them are complaining, saying, "Hey, listen, here they are coming after us, and they're chasing Latinos all around the country." My brother works; he's manager at a chain, at a very large chain of supermarkets, and he actually has some people, in the working staff there who've left because they are concerned about ICE and so forth, and they're running out and they're taking off, and these are mainly Latino people, and they don't want to be around. They're worried about getting scooped up, and they're not scooping up. What do you call criminals or whatever? They're going after like regular people, and these people are very uncomfortable with what actually is going on. So, these Latinos bought into a plan that's really geared against many of them, and they're waking up and seeing what's going on. So, a lot of folks are catching a wake up call out here, and it's something you have. It's it's something you just have to watch. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But where I see where are our victories in this? That's my question to
Nowhere.
these guys out
Nowhere.
here and to these black conservatives per se. Where are you, and where are your victories in this? Where are
Nagar,
your victories?
we gotta ask a question. It's not what you're doing over there. What the hell were you ever doing over there?
It's,
Given what happened right now, what were you ever doing over there?
and what did you expect to get besides trying to align yourself with proximity to whiteness and aligning yourself to the white, more or less supremacist agenda, if there is one, of which we do see. How you think you were going to graft onto that and be a part of that being who you are? How does that work? And where are your benefits in that? How does that work? And how do you benefit? And that's my question. And there are no answers. There are people out here that were saying, you who sat out of the election and sat out and did not get involved in it are the heroes.
You were the heroes.
How are you a hero not
Dennis
participating
Ferlin telling his people that
in the
they're
system?
heroes by
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
it by deliberately setting up these dunk tanks so that way they can get their stuff off about a woman that they're not even dating. And I'm sorry, like a lot of
Have
these
no
people, they
access
wanted to
to.
multiply and divide by ignorant ass dumb ninjas. And they
Stupid,
think that
stupid.
the people that they mislead is power. And they think the more people that I lead into this burning field, it's way better than that. Yeah, yeah. And as soon as he said that, people start sharing that stuff online, Black Avenger. They was talking about how they gonna get some money back. I'm like, do you
Yeah.
not understand government efficiency to a capitalist is not spending the money on their private institution. That's too efficient. When they civilianized most of the military jobs in the military during the Bush administration, which that's why the which that's why the war went on for so long, that people don't get, nor do they want to
Yeah, 20
understand.
years, 20 years, 20
20
years.
years of civilianizing those actual jobs that was being done via rank structure by the actual military. And all those people who used to have those jobs work at those private companies that help civilianize all that kind of stuff. And then guess what happened once the war was over with? They kicked all those people out the organization. So they rolled it up, they rolled it all the way down, and at the end of the day, they still didn't benefit from it because they got rid of those people as soon as it was able to be civilianized and long and gone. But people don't understand that when you privatize things the costs go up, not down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot of people are starting to see this, and I'm just saying, where is your victory in this? Now I see why a lot of people have disappeared. I see why a lot of people just go, they're gone. They're off talking rap stuff and talking some of this dating craziness and just out of it now. That energy that was there back in November of 24. So for all that energy is gone.
tangibles 2024.
Tangibles, 20, yeah. Where you with these
They
Tangibles
don't
of the
have a
couch.
black person agenda, and then as soon as they got an agenda, everybody just went quiet, went dark at the same time, and like, yeah, man, it's time for the bill to come due,
Hold
and
up.
these people are going to come around for
The
you.
agenda. Ice
Oh,
Cube.
come on.
I mean, you said the Republicans gonna meet up with you and talk. Ice Cube did. Here it is. Here's your time now.
But
N-
Ice
n-
Cube
n-
was doing that when he was re-signing his media deal with the big
That's it. That's
three.
it.
And
That's
once he
it.
signed his
That's all
deal
that
with the
was.
big three, they wasn't having Ice Cube on talking
Th-
about
th-
politics and none of
th-
that shit. That's
that
why he
was
was out there to
over.
sell his big three. And in order for him to get his piece, just like Snoop Dogg did with this Donald Trump actual after the election concert, yes, let's just show you how they feel about you. And since you have this big heart and you want all these people to be here, you just forgive them. Yeah, you just forgive them, and you can just sit here right in your face. But that's the type of shiftless, ignorant people that we have around here, and these people want to root around in this.
Yeah,
Like
they
how
do.
how much of other people's relationship trauma and drama do you need to have to go through before you figure out you just need to deal with a different group of people without this actual culture? How often do you need to hear that stuff? Every single day. Now, I do get the people who have children in this. I get them not trying to create a better society because they ain't gonna benefit from the shit at all. I get that. However, people with no experience with women at all getting caught up in this actual nonsense, despicable, disgusting, makes absolutely no sense, none whatsoever. And they track down reasons to waste time rather than spending just a little bit of time understanding the actual system and the process and moving on. They go out there and create, like, if they don't have a misinformer of that type, they will go and create it. They need to
Yeah,
create a parody of reality because a lot of these people are just not working class. This is just
yeah,
some of the leftover men who sleeping on the couches of these nothing ass women who don't care about the future themselves. They raise a whole bunch of um, deliberately malformed kids so that way they could be everybody else's problem. And these are the people who came to this space to make a buck off of our non-progression as people themselves. Now,
yeah,
misinforming people and talk about relationship trauma and drama is now some people's productivity piece. They
yeah.
literally cannot afford for there to be a better society created at this point.
Nope, man. They certainly, and you see, they have a vested interest in keeping things the way they are, and
Yeah,
to 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 to
vested
to,
interest.
to even get worse. But they're out here talking all kind of craziness. Reparations talk. Where's reparations? All the reparations people. Well, now we can get reparations here. Now we reparations. The Republic told you you're not getting that. Well, let's get reparations now from the Africans who put us in slavery. That's the new grift. Let's go now and get reparations from the Africans. You cannot make this stuff up, man.
Yeah, and they're using the dumb ninja as an actual blunt instrument against
As
everybody here.
as a blunt force object. That's exactly
Yeah,
what they use
a
it for.
blunt force object. I mean, they're like a scud, like they're like a uranium tipped scud missile. They just aim and just fire it off. They don't care about what kind of
They wasn't no
damage it
count no
does
way. They was gonna
or
always
anyway.
sit on the couch anyway, so they was just gonna rah they couch position anyway. They wasn't gonna they ain't gonna do nothing.
But it all
They
works.
always have been yeah, it worked perfect.
But it all works if the Democrats would have won. But if they lost, then you lose everything.
Yeah, I mean
Because I'm telling
even
you, right
I'm
now,
trying
these women already have control over the community. They don't really need dumb nigga DNA anymore. They don't need that. Yeah, they don't need that for control of the community. They already have that. So a lot of these dudes are actually sitting around wondering how come they don't need ignorant ass human beings who just want to be the baby making class anymore. So now they're stuck out here trying to learn game and all this kind of goofy ass shit to signal to women about how weak they are. I'm like, they don't fucking need weak men anymore. It's
Well,
kind of
need 'em.
woken up by actually putting all those kids out there. Like they've actually lived under that shit. They don't want to do that shit no more. And now these dudes have actually invested in an actual system that they're not going to be able to see the end of.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable what we're seeing. And like I said, this is a sociological event, but we have to look at this and further study this. But as of right now, those who are serious about making moves and are pressing forward, this is where we have to go, because a lot of these bullshitters are now sitting around talking crazy, talking straight up crazy. You can't really waste a lot of time with that.
what is it? They talking about well black people are quiet right now. They quiet because they ain't got no other choice but to be quiet.
You know,
I mean,
and
you have nothing to talk about no more. Quiet. What is there to talk about?
well, other folks say you have to get politically organized. You have to start moving forward. Got to start moving. Things are popping off right now. People are out here talking about, resegregating it, and all this. Whether they're going to be able to do that
Something
is
nobody campaigned on, something nobody asked for.
nobody asked for that.
Nobody asked for any of that.
No one campaigned on that. And here these guys are talking about this now. Whether they're going to be able to do this or not is another question, because you got to have Congress in on a lot of this and so forth. But still, these people are letting you know what they're thinking, where they're really coming from on this. Where's your victory there? Oh yeah, well, let's put it out front
Well,
right
we
now.
need
Do you
we
understand
need
what
to segregate. We were doing
did
better up under segregation.
you were not? And
Yeah.
under Plessy versus Ferguson.
According to some people.
Well, yeah,
We don't need to.
those people who were sitting down doing nothing, yeah, that's good for them. Who were sitting down doing nothing in their corner, never going to be about anything, fine. But certainly when Plessy versus Ferguson was the order of the day in 1896 and stayed that way for 60 years until Brown versus Board of Ed, how much better were blacks really, really, really doing under that situation? Certainly after um, uh, Reconstruction, which was basically shut down, and then they put that down on top of you. See how well you did. See, there's history here that we can look at very, very clearly and very openly. But you have these other people, I think, just giving up. They're just giving up. They're tired of the fight. They're just giving up, saying we give up. We don't know how to fight now. We can't fight this if it comes down to fight. They're not even prepared to move forward on some of this. But this is where we are with some of this. Where's your victory there? Well,
But a
we're just
lot of
going to
these
make it.
people want to live under those circumstances, though. Like they literally want to go back to a time where they had no voice and no chance to do anything. A lot of people want to go back to that. Believe it or not,
And
a lot of people want to go back to that.
yeah,
They
those who
do.
are not participating.
Thank you.
These non
Those who are not participating. Non-participants. Your ignorance. your belligerence, and so forth.
Unproductive,
The non-productive.
non-constructive.
They want to go there. Segregation is economics. At the end of the day, it's an economic game. All right,
I
and it's broader economics because now your banking systems and so forth, the economic systems that we are heavily pushed out of as well. Sure, we can gain a lot by putting a lot of our own together, but we got to be a part of this general economy. You cut out of that, you're going to be hurting a lot more economically and politically than you want to think about. And that's what these people are doing. They understand what they're trying to do.
Oh, of course.
FBA can stand on their own. They don't need no allies.
Yes, they can. Yeah, man. Like,
and
man, failed Black Americans have been their own race for a while. Hey, man, separate off and go off on the couch and just do whatever you couch ninjas do, man. Like, look, at the end of the day, there is no time to be multiplying and dividing by zeros. They're gonna walk up. They're gonna try to pretend like they want to be down. Like, no, they want to lay up under your umbrella that you built this entire time. And the moment this storm is over, they're gonna get up and walk away from stuff like they walked away from everything else. Don't be nobody's fool out here. Do not be nobody's
it's
fool.
Like I got an older cousin. I call him he married to my older cousin. I call him my uncle, aunts and uncles, out of respect. And he lay. I was talking to him. We were talking about stuff going on. He was like, "Look, this was the same thing happened back in the day with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Yes.
You had to do nothing Negroes that will ruin everything. They don't want to go along the plan. Okay, just show up. I ain't want to show up. I ain't got nothing. It's the same. We always have them. We always have dealt with this, and we always will do. The do nothing Negroes, the do nothing people that don't want to do nothing but be stagnant. They don't want to be productive. They don't want to be constructive. And then you can. They keep talking about white supremacy. Those two things right there, being productive and constructive. You know how much pain that cost the so-called white supremacy, but you don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, but most of these people, they're okay with being at the bottom and seeing no one else do better than them. And they have to understand that in a system like this, you're going to have that position for a while. And then other people are going to get here and they're going to show you exactly what you should have done with this actual opportunity. And those are the people who are complaining right now. Like, if you look at these epidemic of dying 50-year-old comedians and black damn fools who I have absolutely no respect for at this point.
No respect for
all these entertainers, every time you come to them or say something to them, it's always about deliberately not participating, deliberately trying to misunderstand what's going on, deliberately not trying to do anything but keep people as dumb and as ignorant and as complacent as humanly possible. So that way they can be able to sell their next ticket to their next show or their next ticket to their next movie. And they are also not actually invested in a better society themselves.
They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not. They like things the way they are, and that's the problem that we have. That's the problem that we have. So we got to shake this thing up and really keep pressing. A lot of these other people who were out here pushing it, they don't want to. They don't want to see. They don't want to see us do better. They don't. They generally don't want improvement. They like
Think about the
things the
people
way they
who
are.
actually
So you
literally
don't
went into
advance.
music, went into the music industry to make what type of music for what people. Like there wasn't a Motown movie out there. Like the type of people who would go and do some stuff like that. Think about the people who looked at all these things that was actually going on here. And this is what they deliberately done. They done on purpose with the express purpose of trying to keep this artificial position that and then teaching learned helplessness to generations of lost individuals. That's another thing that they
And,
did.
and that's and you see the direct result of that. You
Yes, you
know,
do.
they push. They've been pushing other groups that come in into. Long story short, why are you complaining if you in Chicago, New York, and all these places where they push immigrants in? Oh, now you want to complain. Where was you at 20 years ago? You've been stagnant, doing nothing.
Could have been had
What's
those
the
jobs. Dude,
could
that
have been
training been there. It been free.
been there?
Dude, the
We
training was
both
free.
drive over the country. We see where they have these work centers at. We see
Bro.
where they have these you can go all kinds of little government jobs you can get from local to state to federal. I ain't want to do that.
And I'm telling you, when I first got there to the Aurora, Denver metro area in 98, into 98, close to 99, that stuff was free then to go to school and do all that. So you mean to tell me
Government funded.
government funded? That's why everybody come to the area. They come to the area because they know that you're about to go to school for the free, go get yourself a certificate and get straight to work.
But the government ain't done nothing for us.
And they're dealing with, and this is going on every day. I'm sitting here looking at. Still, I was talking with a colleague of mine who works for the state of Vermont. I had a contract with them a couple of years ago, and I may get back into it, where they still are understaffed in state government.
Yes.
They cannot run their state with this skeleton crew that they have currently, and they're offering you 10 G,
know
10 G's. Hold on, let me 10 grand to come into that state to work.
I
10
know
grand to do
people
this.
that have got masters. They quit. Them and their family got together. Their husband and wife got. Oh, you take this county job. Simple fact. They gonna offer us benefits when we retire. We still gonna have full medical and dental. Might not make as much, but it's a job, and that's how they play the system. But hey, I ain't want to do that.
You know, and and oh yeah, BA. That's an excellent question. You know, what have the Democrats done for you? Answer the things that Republicans are cutting. That's exactly
And they're
correct.
always on the other side of never
You
doing anything
know,
for the
you know.
people and always being the opposition party. So when people ask these dumbass questions, not Black Avenger, he just pointed it out. So when
Yeah,
people
no,
keep
no. You
saying,
know,
could you
excellent.
please bring me up to speed on what the Democrats have actually done? I'm like, no,
Social Security,
no.
FDR.
Social Security, Medicare, SSI, 40-hour work week. It's like, dude,
Everything you basically have, and your whole civil rights movement, equal rights in the whole game, all that has come through. Equal pay, all that. People, hold on a second. I don't care about the DEI. Most of you black people who've gone to school and have gotten a job somewhere in near the corporate sector, whatever, you wouldn't have had that unless you had others who fought to help you to get that. He had many who were trying for you not to get an equal opportunity. Where these companies were getting public dollars and public funds
yes.
from the government, and you did not have an equal opportunity to get a shot there, while you were paying taxes into those companies as well. How the
And
hell
they
is
don't
that work?
understand
Federal
that when the actual Republicans are in office, you can't get a small business loan because these actual super large corporations create offshoots of their actual companies, and they get all the
thank
small
you.
business
And
loans and all
They
the investments and shit. It's like,
exactly correct.
damn, like, bro, do you have to really have this repeated to you? Like,
And squeeze
okay,
that.
who got a small business loan under the first Trump administration? I'll wait.
and
Who
and and
did?
and squeeze out, and that is saying that you can't have DEI, what they're saying in the federal government, where you're paying federal dollars into there, and you are not going to get an equal shot at getting contracts from your own government. These people trying to hold you back from that. That's actual segregation from there as well. Taxation without representation, and and you're supposed to stand back in that. Where are these black conservatives? Where are you?
Where are they?
we
Where
we,
are
we
you?
Where
Where
are
are you
these
just
not
third
speaking
just
party
out on
people?
this?
just
This is business. Where are you? Where are you in this? You're silent, quiet.
Hmm.
we need to do for self. Do
Pull yourself up by your
Man,
bootstraps while they're sitting
you
there bootstrapping on you. Got the government helping them to bootstrap on you all day long. That's their bootstrap. Is the government literally and we're taking a look at people like like Musk and them, who are the biggest recipients of this.
biggest.
The
Do
biggest
you
Biggest.
think Elon Musk is cutting government funds from his actual projects that he's
Immigrants might
making
here.
billions
Immigrant
off
might
of?
not at you. Immigrant.
immigrant set up by Obama. Obama was one of the biggest people that helped to put him in business.
Cut out NASA for SpaceX. You know.
And now they come back here telling you're cut back. You're getting cut back to the fat meat, and they're taking your
Now,
federal dollars.
He's none elected either. He just, he no elected official. He ain't accountable to
Where
nobody.
are you? Where are you, black conservatives? Where are you?
what's going
Why
on?
are you not speaking out on this?
How many
Where
many contracts are black people gonna get up under him? Black
Where are
conservatives,
you?
where you at?
Billions of dollars are breaking out, and you're supposed to be about the money and the dollars, and you're
Remember when
silent on
Complex
this?
was talking about his business, and a well-known 65-year-old came through and asked him about fighting feminism, and that had to been the message of the day rather than worried about his micro mobility stuff. And it's like, why do I have to fight feminism? Like, what are you talking about? And it's like,
Unreal. This is I don't
hey,
even want to get into that. This
you know when people actually start to insert stuff in there, you know what they're actually saying? What about dumb niggas? Like that's actually what they're actually saying. Like they're not saying it explicitly, but that's exactly what they're saying, right? They're like, well, wait a minute, look at all these kids, and what are these dumb niggas gonna do? And it's like, yeah, they're gonna learn how to survive, or they're gonna die. And it's like, but I don't have a place without dumb niggas. That means I get to die too. As a matter of fact, that's probably true. You should have invested in a better group of people. I'm fucking sorry.
This is unreal. Unreal what's going on, and people are quiet. It's silent. They're silent.
And non-working class black people are sitting in these conservative states and these barely liberal areas and complaining about Democrats when they know that they want more Democrats to be in charge. Man,
complain about Democrats, but yet here these people are cutting you back to the fat meat. And now I'm coming right at the business class. I'm a part of that. Where are you in this? Where are you? This is coming right.
No one said anything. Nobody said anything.
This is multi-billions of dollars that were being cut out of. Why are you silent?
Hey, look, Target catching hell right now. I mean, none of these corporations had to go along with that. They didn't have to do anything, but that's what they did. They did it on purpose for some reason.
Hey, I'm still curious. Like I was talking in the barbershop a couple weeks ago. One of these so-called Trumpers, man. Man, the only thing you do is now raise pit bulls, and you're a convicted felon. So that's why okay. But how about this, man? I ain't boycott. I ain't boycott. I'll tell you what. How about we got something to do even better? How come we just can't boycott buying alcohol if you really want to stick it to the government? And quit buying weed. Man, yeah, man, you be talking crazy. No, I talk for a little bit of logic. Well, I mean,
The problem is that the previous parts of Black American society is giving these people a pass. I ain't giving these people no pass, bro. I'm sorry. You ain't productive. You ain't coming along. You or your kids or your wife, none of that shit. You're not gonna hang, bro. That's what that is. You're gonna have to be on some more productive stuff because we can't. Well, you know what? The people who want to be caught up in entertainment rather than substance, they've already decided that they're not gonna be part of anything anyway. So what's going on, Wacko? What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? What's up?
Wacky world. What's up, babe?
What's up, Nagon? What's up, MOT?
Man.
What's up, the other brother? I forgot his name. But I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What happened to that negotiation table that Trump was supposed to set up?
Oh,
so
man.
the black female can, exchange her submission, right, for black male's resources. What happened to that?
Yeah.
What's that? Huh?
What? Yeah. That Game of Thrones chair. Yeah. What
I mean,
happened to
Trump is in his second term, and he still have not brought out that negotiation table. Wow.
Huh?
Yep. That's what they're doing.
What? 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 Oh yeah.
Please come back.
I thought winter was coming for black females, man.
Yeah.
I thought winter was coming for black females. It's spring now. Shit. You know?
Praying for rain. You are a fucking dinosaur. You know what you're praying for.
Yo. And
God, you better be specific.
Unreal, Wacky. Unreal.
And
unreal, man.
I'm sure you brothers on this panel understand the issue with black boys in America and their issues with the public education system.
Of
When it
course.
comes to reading 1,000 times worse.
Exactly.
Thanks to the wrestling billionaire who's about to be in charge of that. I mean, look.
Yeah.
I don't see no 18-point agenda. I don't see none of these black manosphere PhDs being actually concerned about that. I see these people.
They've said nothing.
Yeah.
They said
nothing. They gonna come up the money when they get reparations. When they get reparations, they gonna add the money together and they open up a school.
Exactly. They said nothing. And man, tomorrow, to add on to what you just said about this billionaire, right? She's the wife of a weirdo. Okay,
yeah,
such a big department like that.
A freak. And she ended up fucking freak. And end up divorcing this guy that divorced, and she's running here and doesn't even know really what the job even entails.
Exactly.
Doesn't even understand all the departments and so forth. Doesn't understand.
Exactly. But gutting out the DOE is going to set black boys even way back in the story.
Way back. And that's their intention.
Yes.
And I see none of these PhDs or others. You're supposed to be your most learned class here, silent. Talking about now. What are they talking about? What is it? Alimony payments or something, man? I heard
alimony.
Something crazy. I mean, I hear them talking craziness.
Yeah.
And you're not addressing any of this?
Yeah.
Wacky, please bring me up to speed on this.
I was asking you guys that because I'm surprised from a lot of these people.
Yeah. Black Avenger, you are correct. You need so many permits to build something in actual New York City. If you actually wanted to destroy something, you could just roll up with some explosives and a ball attached to a fucking chain, and they'll let you destroy half the fucking city.
Yeah, for real. And sorry to be a little bit off topic, right? Because y'all brought up the 65-year-old loser and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So a few months ago, we all witnessed a very bad natural disaster that happened in the state of California, right?
Yes.
And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but this person lives in that state and especially in that region where it was where you saw a great amount of these wildfires, right?
Sure did.
I haven't heard this person speak on that. What this person was speaking on was about females.
About bitches.
Damn, you mean some of your backyard is on fire, and all you can talk about are quote unquote 304s or Keishas and what have you?
Ran up, found him a black woman to complain about, and threw her ass off in that damn wildfire. Don't put it out, girl.
Exactly.
Don't put it out, girl.
Y'all brought her name up earlier. I feel so bad for poor Jasmine Crocker these next 2 years. She gonna be the butt of all the jokes and all because.
But just getting elected and trying to do something to help, and these ravenous dudes who have nothing else to talk about is going to try to hold her to levels of account that they never would hold Candace Owens to.
You know, they blame her for the conditions what the community is in her district. I'm like, that's a local issue. She on the federal level. By the time the federal money get there,
kids. and they're blaming her for shit of other people who created things in their area. And it's like, look, man, Nagone, we need to get that Uber stole-on machine kind of rolling up, man, because that's a
And just
backlog of dudes who is in desperate need of
to
some
get
on-the-spot correction.
unbelievable,
Man, this is crazy, man.
unbelievable. Like I mean, and you've been in the manosphere for how many years? Like how
Oh,
many years?
oh boy, I've been there
How
for
many
ever
years?
since the beginning, man, and
How many years?
I've seen it just devolve more and more and more.
My
And,
lord,
and
I've been in damn near as long as yourself, but I've
yeah,
looked at this and have you ever seen it look so bad?
nah, I never did, man, never did. That's yeah, never did. Yeah,
You know,
so
that
like,
primate to man kind of montage, you know, the shit kind of rolling backwards, man.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for real, it rolling backwards. Yeah. Yeah, but before I leave, right?
Incredible.
After, because I'm about to leave, I'm going to watch some more of this March Madness, right? So,
Good.
but before I do, I'm going to say this. Now, we all understand that the Democratic Party isn't perfect, right?
No.
Yes, there
We know
are
this. We know
issues
this.
within the Democratic Party, but
We know this.
after this term is over, no one in the manosphere can talk ish about the Democratic Party because
No.
the GOP are going to place so-called black people in the 21st version of Reaganomics. Okay,
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, they are.
Reaganomics is back,
Yes, they are.
baby.
it's
Yes,
back.
they are. And
It's back.
and
So
and and it's here to and they are here to destroy it. There's no doubt, or they're here to do you a lot of harm. Let's be very frank. Many of these folks they're not going to be able to return again the way they were. They're not going to be able to come back after. They're not going to be able to come back and be credible at all because there's way too much out there on them now.
thank
They
God.
just look for the next grift, whatever the next grift is. That's what they gonna.
You're looking at the script, you just start to call them out.
Yep.
Okay, vote blue no matter who, and they talk all this dumb shit.
Yeah,
Look at this. Where's your victory? How do you explain this? How do you
E-
explain your position? How do you do
exactly. But with that, brothers, y'all have a great night. All right.
All right,
that?
cool.
Man,
All right,
great,
Wacky.
great seeing
All
you.
right.
Great seeing you, Wax.
Thanks.
Great, man.
I
Thanks for
agree
coming up,
seeing you
man.
guys too. Thank you for having me on MOT. Y'all have a great night. Be safe.
Man,
All right, have a nice one.
you too, brother.
Yeah, but here's another thing that people are not getting when they try to criticize the actual black manosphere itself. They want desperately to have incompetent men as an actual people to point at to grow their own private platforms, but they cannot afford to come to the most legitimate people in this space for a very specific reason. Because we could just easily ask them, other than pointing out incompetent men, what are you doing? Like, what side have you taken? What side have you chosen? Because most of these ex-criminal pieces of garbage, they actually have taken up with the actual entertainment piece and following that nonsense around. They're not trying to make anything any better in their actual communities. These
Yeah,
are the same people asking all these dumbass questions about tangibles and all this stuff. And the moment that plans was actually provided, they actually acted like nothing was being provided itself. But at the end of the day, there's a lot more to this actual incompetence piece for men. People who have deliberately taken up sides to actually ensure these things are going to keep going the way that they currently are going. That that's a man's problem. A woman can't make you be productive. A woman can't make you give up on actually being your best self. And taking this shortcut into complaining about women is what this space is actually turned into, because there was a business move and marketing decision for personnel to turn it into that.
yeah,
That's what they wanted to turn it
yeah.
into. They
And
wanted to
and
make
that
it the most lowest hanging fruit as possible, to have the dumbest conversations possible, to bring all these blignorants and blidiots all up in here so that way nothing works.
that's exactly correct. And you can't sit down here and say, well, it's all the women's fault. Now look at what's going. Where the women at? Where they at? Are they the one cutting jobs? Are they the ones deporting folks? Are they what y'all talking about? What, what y'all talking about here? What
Yeah,
y'all talking about?
and I tell you this, You shouldn't be fucking on something if you ain't got your shit together. I'm
Nah,
sorry.
nah,
You shouldn't be hitting a damn
nah,
thing in the country if you ain't
nah.
got your shit together. You
Well,
trying to
Listen,
live
well,
up to this pretend dream of being this useless motherfucker so that way you can get some ass. Like, bro, them days are over with. The
you
fuck you
know,
talking about?
what are they gonna do whenever they cut the food stamps back on the couch you laying on in the house? What
Yeah.
you gonna do then?
what's gonna happen then?
I
What's
mean,
gonna happen to you then? When they cut the when they cut all that back, they cut the SNAP back, the SNAP benefits. When they coming after all of that, what's up? What's up
which
next?
which you know, which I explained to one of my coworkers that benefits. That's not just for the people. That was for the farmers to keep them working.
It is for the farmers. So
Of
Just about
course
the
that.
USAID. I'm like, well, they spending all this money. I'm like, don't you know, like it's a government website where you can see where Congress every time they vote they allocate the money to where it go to. I mean, you didn't. Well, they just
on
wasted
top of
money.
still screwing black farmers, by the way.
Still screwing them. Still screwing them.
But hey, Phil advised. Why aren't you talking about that? They ain't gonna. Hey, they ain't. Black farmers ain't gonna get nothing now.
Well, that is
Oh
What's the
yeah.
what.
problem?
Oh yeah, with him in office, with Trump in office, and it's like all this bliggity blunkety blukety black talk was nothing but a front. They wanted things to get worse. They wanted more things to complain about. They couldn't benefit from an actual working class society. These people know that.
Yeah. And always remember, y'all who sat on the couch are the heroes.
That's right. Direct
Think
quote
about
from Dennis Sperling, attorney Dennis Sperling.
Yeah,
it. The
but
Blizzard King.
the Blizzard King, but you know the military, like like we both know how the military work. They oh all the money that they spend on the look. Do you know the benefit that our military get for giving all these countries other this money? We can set up
Yes.
we can set up ammunition in certain places all around the world. We can have
Can
some
land our
launching points from
planes.
you can have but do you think all that money just for allocated Ukraine just went to Ukraine? What planet are y'all from? It went from the government to the defense contractors, and that's where it
Yeah.
stayed at. And we shipped them what they wanted. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is what do y'all know how to read a piece of paper? Do you know how this thing? Do you know how to? That's how we always have. Well, they going to these other countries doing all this and this chaos for your benefit. I'm sorry,
Yeah, man.
it's
Like
just the
like
way.
like like these dudes are like they're like the Chick-fil-A cows and shit. You know how they be making up them words? Blame Keisha, like all fucking misspelled and shit on
Yeah,
fucking billboards and shit. Still trying to blame bitches for shit that is their fucking responsibility, man.
That is exactly correct. Waste time blaming this female. That's
and
what these
and
guys are on.
and these
Where
tariffs
we
just so magically. Well, Trump need to. I'm okay. I'm not saying tariffs are bad. If you got to know when and properly how to do it. But this stuff is plain local. They tried this during the Great Depression. It didn't work. You had to have the
Yeah,
government under FDR to come in to help get this ball rolling again.
that's how they had to
No,
get. That's how they got to be the largest employer in the first place. And now people want to remove jobs from the largest employer in the United States and don't expect there to be an actual recession because of it. What?
don't
What?
don't the thought of them. Look, I think it's lazy. I'm telling a couple people, yeah, it's lazy people. But I would rather for them to get some kind of benefit than them. Do you know the chaos that'll happen? You just put people out of work, crime gonna go up, robbing, stealing, killing. It's
All the stuff they
inevitable.
claim
So
that they didn't want.
why do you want this? Well, they're just lazy and they need to get that. Oh Lord, you fed
we
into
will
the
we will be seeing a recession, but let just
Non-working
let's
class people, man. This is
let
it's
some of
just
this
it's
stuff
their
hit.
revenge.
well,
You know
it's Biden and Obama fault. That's just gonna be the.
that's what they'll try to blame it on. But Like I said, you know, of which they won't be able to, but they'll try and they'll look crazy doing it. But let's just watch what's going on, to see what's going on. And I'm watching these Negroes very closely. I'm watching them very closely, listening to them very closely, and it is unreal at some of the stuff that
They
they're
have
being
to find
predicted.
different ways to waste time, man. So that's what's interesting to me. It's like
You know,
they look at reality, they want to ignore it. They just find another reason to go somewhere else and find something else to waste time on, or somebody else dumb and ignorant and stupid to make famous. Look, they need to find another avatar of their stagnation point. That's what they do.
you
They
know,
come into places of actual progress and find people to actually support that is the antithesis of what the space is about. Then they complain about the space. And it's like, look, nobody complained about it. But look, the only thing I'm pointing out is, look, you've had all the answers. Well, not me, but the space have had all the answers for a while. And the only thing they
Yeah,
did was just sat on the information and didn't do anything with it.
I really want I really want these cats to start asking the anger man, so what are we gonna do now? If my SSI chicken SSI don't come, what am I gonna do? I mean, my hip messed up. I can't do nothing, anger man. I mean, whining about black women and child support ain't gonna help me. Well, the conservatives gonna they man, go ahead. I'm just curious. I mean, who questions some of these cats?
and I
I
know
mean, for
I'm sitting here now, and I keep asking the question: Black conservatives, where are you?
Where
Where
are
are
these
you?
black independents? Where are
Where
these
are you?
black third party? Where are these black
Where
green
are you?
parties? Where are these black libertarians? Where are you at?
oh,
Where you at?
I want where the couch sitters that's been sitting on the sidelines for the last 20 years, and then you want to whine about, oh, they taking away our community center. Well, you had the little drug dealers running the community center anyway. They sold dope there. You let them do that. So what's the problem?
No, they said they FBAs and they
Yeah, you know,
don't
they
sell
fell
all
back
that
on
stuff,
that,
How
and
is
man.
that
You know,
gonna
like
help?
that,
How is that
and
gonna
all
help
this
out
stuff.
right now?
And you know
I mean, like that don't affect them, man. Like that
they
doesn't affect them.
they voted the couch, man. They said they weren't a part of any of this, man.
All right, man.
They
So
want sit out.
before we go, since you brought it up, we're gonna play a little video about stupid people, and I would be remiss without playing this. So let's run the actual tape. Since you brought up Dietrich Bonhoeffer, we're gonna talk about.
Es war das dunkelste Kapitel der deutschen Geschichte.
Shit, this internal. Shit, you probably stuff. Oh, it is all the way. Oh man. Yeah, but this is where we at though. It's like what these people have got to recognize at this point is that you got to be able to move yourself, and if you're stuck, that's just on you, man. That ain't on nobody else but you. And
No,
you gotta move. Like okay, what more help do you need? One more answer.
uh, no. I'm sitting here looking at this Bonhoeffer. I know what you're gonna play.
Oh,
It's actually too funny. It's actually way too funny. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
just that. Okay, good.
it's just no. I'm just gonna say stupid people. I have to accept the fact. I mean, do I get cross every T and dot every I? No, but I do have a logic. If somebody comes with me the facts, I have to take it.
In the darkest chapter of German
Yeah, man. So let's just man. Let's roll with it. Let's roll with it.
history, during a time when incited mobs threw stones into the windows of innocent shop owners and women and children were cruelly humiliated in the open, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a young pastor, began to speak publicly against the atrocities that the regime had produced. After years of trying to change people's minds, Dietrich Bonhoeffer came home one evening and his own father had to tell him that 2 men were waiting in his room to take him away. In prison, Bonhoeffer began to reflect on how his country of poets and thinkers had turned into a collective of cowards, crooks, and criminals. Eventually, he concluded that the root of the problem was not malice, but stupidity. In his famous Letters from Prison, Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice, because while one may protest against evil, it can be exposed and prevented by the use of force. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Neither protests nor the use of force accomplish anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears. Facts that contradict a stupid person's prejudgment simply need not be believed, and when they are irrefutable, they are just pushed aside as inconsequential, as incidental. In all this, the stupid person is self-satisfied and, being easily irritated, becomes dangerous by going on the attack. For that reason, greater caution is called for when dealing with a stupid person than with a malicious one. If we want to know how to get the better of stupidity, we must seek to understand its nature. This much is certain. Stupidity is, in essence, not an intellectual defect, but a moral one. There are human beings who are remarkably agile intellectually, yet stupid, and others who are intellectually dull, yet anything but stupid. The impression one gains is not so much that stupidity is a congenital defect, but that under certain circumstances, people are made stupid, or rather, they allow this to happen to them. People who live in solitude manifest this defect less frequently than individuals in groups, and so it would seem that stupidity is perhaps less a psychological than a sociological problem. It becomes apparent that every strong upsurge of power, be it of a political or religious nature, infects a large part of humankind with stupidity, almost as if this is a sociological psychological law, where the power of the one needs the stupidity of the other. The process at work here is not that particular human capacities, such as intellect, suddenly fail. Instead, it seems that under the overwhelming impact of rising power, humans are deprived of their inner independence and, more or less consciously, give up an autonomous position. The fact that the stupid person is often stubborn must not blind us from the fact that he is not independent. In conversation with him, one virtually feels that one is dealing not at all with him as a person, but with slogans, catchwords, and the like that have taken possession of him. He is under a spell, blinded, misused, and is abused in his very being. Having thus become a mindless tool, the stupid person will also be capable of any evil, incapable of seeing that it is evil. Only an act of liberation, not instruction, can overcome stupidity. Here, we must come to terms with the fact that in most cases, a genuine internal liberation becomes possible only when external liberation has preceded it. Until then, we must abandon all attempts to convince the stupid person. Bonhoeffer died due to his involvement in a plot against Adolf Hitler at dawn on the 9th of April 1945 at Flossenburg concentration camp, just 2 weeks before soldiers from the United States liberated the camp. Action springs not from thought, but from a readiness for responsibility. The ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world that it leaves to its children, Bonhoeffer once said. Check the description below to read Bonhoeffer's original text, After 10 Years. For more information about Bonhoeffer or to download this video without background music, go to sproutschools.com.
I know people don't like me calling people stupid, but at the end of the day, this stuff is too easy to see. Participation is the only way out of this. If you want to sit around and be a true pedestrian, like a true pedestrian, like living in California, but you find all these useless and damn near absolutely non-servile personnel to actually support because you want to live under liberal leadership, but you don't want to participate in it for some dumbass reason, that's a you problem. That isn't anybody else's problem but those personnel who are actually there. And I'm sorry, you have to face the consequences of your actions. I'm not as concerned about these people. They have to feel the force of what it's like, no matter how wrong it is, about the consequences of their actions. Middle and lower class America have been thinking that they're the chosen people of these capitalists for the better part of 200 years. They have never felt the brunt of force that is actually being taken upon them by the richest people in the country. These are the people who are supposed to be evil evangelical Christians, by the way. These are the people who are supposed to have got all the lessons in the Bible, but yet they still fall prey to believing in this strongman myth and fantasy. This has nothing to do with anybody else. And going out and deliberately weaponizing stupid ass people among us is unconscionable at a time like this. I don't give a shit about nobody's failed relationship issues or anything like that. And by bringing these dumbass individuals in here, you don't have a right to talk about anything about the space or anybody in it. Because people know there's only a very few people who are actually very consistent. I've been here for a long ass time, at least 13 years or a little bit slightly more. I've always been on the left. I've always been looking for actual practical Republicans to actually deal with. There have always been few and far between. But at this point in time, I don't give a fuck whether they exist there or not. At the end of the day, you got a lot of fucking explaining to do about this shit happening right now. I don't see you out in the streets. I don't see you running up in these people's faces. I see you being completely quiet and cowardly. Is this what you thought that we was gonna deal with over this entire time? I don't know, man. But you gone. Any last words before we get up out of Sean?
No, I think this set it. The ending to this set this just right, and I think we've kind of hit this right square on the head. And once again, MOT, I really appreciate you bringing me up.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on, man. Inquisitive Prince. Anything else
Nice
before we
talking.
get up out of here?
Nice talking to you, gentlemen. I just only thing I gotta say is the grift is real. The grift is real.
I mean, dude, you got the relationship complainers playing back political conversations as if not taking a side and just playing the shit means that they're actually invested or involved in the process. Complete fucking stupidity. That is not fucking needed. Listen, if your duty is finding a black woman to complain about or trying to give out some hip hop fucking news, why the fuck would you even try to fuck with politics if you don't have a side pick?
Don't even know what's going on the local. Now they about to change the laws on local law. They gonna raise your water bill up, but you ain't worried about that. Jay
Not at
Z
all.
Jay Z case you worried about that. But that's all I gotta say. MOT. You
All
have a
right,
good
cool.
rest
Well,
of your day,
thanks for
man.
coming on, man. And I want to thank everybody for listening. Make sure you like, share, and comment on the video on your way out. I'll see you guys next week where we talk about imagine not having a side and trying to engage in the political process at this point in time. Absolutely insane. I want to thank you guys for coming through on the man tomorrow. You guys have a really nice rest of y'all night. Peace.